talking to Brits. No Brits.
George and Jeff talk to Yehaa Bob.
Welcome back to In the Hot Seat with Communicore Weekly. This week we're here with Yehaa Bob Jackson, who is a staple at Port Orleans Riverside. Bob, how you doing tonight?
Communicore Weekly, oh we love you. We love you, Communicore Weekly, oh yes we do. We love you, Communicore Weekly, it's true. Communicore Weekly, we love you.
Oh, that was fantastic.
And hi, all my friends listening tonight on the Communicore Weekly Show. It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, after that introduction, we are very happy to have you here. Nothing will ever beat that introduction ever again. You're going to be a tough act to follow for anyone else, I guarantee you. Well, thank you again for coming on the show. We know that you are a staple at Port Orleans Riverside. You have lots and lots of people watching you every week. So we just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about your career there and all that fun stuff you do. So you've been there for about 14 years now, right?
I just had my 15th year anniversary.
Wow, 15 years, wow.
15 years on the stage, and every night is a lot of fun.
Now, have you been at Port Orleans for 15 years, or is it in general for 15 years there?
I certainly have, on that little stage, and I've played a couple years before that at different parts in the different parks, subbing. But I've been on that stage for the last 15 years, and it's just been a big hoot. Nobody has more fun than us.
So, how did you get into the gig to begin with? How did you get into Disney?
Well, I moved to Orlando in 1991 and joined the Dixieland Band down at Rosie O'Grady's, which is a place on Church Street Station, which was just a lot of fun. We had a big Dixieland show. And from there, I started meeting some friends and other piano players, and one thing led to another, and I started playing out at the Diamond Horseshoe Show at the Magic Kingdom. And so I got my foot in the door there at Disney by performing at the Diamond Horseshoe Show. And I did that for a number of years until that show finally fell apart. And one thing led to another, and I've just been there on stage there at Port Orleans Riverside.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, 15 years is a pretty long time to be on the same stage, but people come back to see you, every vacation. So that must be a huge honor to be part of all these people's memories every year.
I've got kids coming now. I've got young people coming now with their kids, and they come up and introduce themselves, and they were there as children, and now they're married and they're bringing their kids back. And so I say I've got 3 generations that I'm entertaining from the same family. So it's really a lot of fun.
Again, you've been there for 15 years, and now you're getting these fans that they're bringing their kids now. How do you keep the show fresh night after night and, keep it new for people coming to see you?
Every night, I walk in there, and I give myself a pep talk. I say, I'm going to put on my very best show. And I get on that stage, and off we go. Once I get up there and turn those lights on, it's showtime. It's just a big hoot. It's a lot of fun.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Kids CD or the performances like Bob Plays for Kids that you've done. You've got the different characters.
That was a lot of fun. I would crack myself up. I would have to turn the recording machine off because I was laughing so hard. I had 3 different characters that I used on that thing. Brunhilde, Gus, and Elvis. And it was just a lot of fun. They were just... Every song on there was just so much fun to put together. I had a big lot of fun. You give me a second, I'll try to get that thing fired up. I'll play you something. Yeah, it was fun. I did all my favorite kids songs. So I've got Brunhilde, and I've got Gus, who sings the bass, and I've got Elvis, who just talks like a nut. Here, you see. Coming down the mountain, children, coming down the mountain, children.
she come? When she come? She'll be coming round the mountain when she come. When she come? She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain when she come. When she come?
You got time for another one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here we are. Here you'll be able to hear all these different characters here.
There's a hole in the bucket. Here I love, here I love. There's a hole in the bucket. Here I love. A hole? Yeah, a big hole. Well, then fix it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then fix it, dear Henry, dear Henry, fix it. Well, how are we going to do that? Better ask her. But what shall I fix it, dear?
So there you go.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is fun.
Now, I'm assuming, since you have the recording machine right there, that you record all this stuff yourself?
I do, yeah. I record all my music right here. I've got my keyboard and all the software, and I've got my little studio right here, and this is where I do all my recording.
That's pretty awesome.
It is fun. Have you heard any of my original music?
I have, actually, yes. And I actually, just to refresh my memory, I went on your website again today, and you have one of your original songs posted on your main page.
Right.
And that's fantastic, too. I mean, you are a very multi-talented performer. You know, did you go to school for music composition? And
yeah, I did. Yeah, I was a music composition major at the University of Cincinnati, in Cincinnati, Ohio. And it's just all I've ever done since I was a young person is to write and play the piano and entertain. It's all I've ever done. It's been my passion.
Did you always want to perform in front of people before that?
Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah, I've always been an entertainer. Even when I was a little kid, I just loved to entertain, and I've had my own bands, and for decades, and I've been doing my own single show for a long time, but I just love it. It's always fun. I love being in front of people and talking to people and meeting. I never get tired of it. It's so interesting.
Well, seeing some of the live shows, tell us a little bit more about the moving piano, because that's quite an...
Guys have been doing that for hundreds of years. Pine Top Smith, Fats Domino. Fats Domino would push the piano completely across the stage. All these guys have been... That's an old trick, but I love to just rock that thing. People just love it.
Your shows are very, they're very interactive, and I think even with the piano too, there's a lot of kinetic energy between you and the piano, and you like getting the audience involved. Getting the audience involved is a big part of your show. Was that always your intention to get them, I guess, singing along and with
absolutely.
you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. A big audience participation show is what I'm going for. It's all fun. I played in all these different piano bars. I've been playing in piano bars for a long, long time.
Okay, well, what are some of your favorite songs to perform during your usual performances, as well as like when you're not at Port Orleans?
Well, when I'm putting on my show, anything I can get that audience, as long as they're participating and they're getting into it, that's all that matters to me. Any song will do as far as that goes, but I love to play the piano, and I love to play Rhapsody in Blue. I love to play Malagueña. When I'm at home, I practice a lot of classical music. I'll spend an hour and a half every day playing Bach and Mozart and Chopin. And just because I love to play that stuff, that's what I play when I'm at home.
Does any of that leak into your live show, or you really just tailor it to the audience to?
No, I don't even go that direction at all, because I don't want to put anybody to sleep. And that's fine. That's all good. I love to be an entertainer. I love to entertain. Entertainment is my passion. I just love to entertain. So that's the good thing. That's what's good about it.
Now, I've seen you probably like 3 or 4 times now, But and I mean, you just said again you've been there for 15 years. Or is there any particular memories of your 15 years there that stand out?
Yeah. Oh, there's so many ridiculous things that have happened on that stage. You know, I've got. Oh, let's see. I do this one bit where it's called a room split, where I have one side of the room. I see who can make the most noise from the other side of the room. And I get them to stand up one side at a time. And one night, somebody climbed up on their chair and was waving their arms around and knocked almost all the glass of the chandelier. They pretty much knocked the chandelier down. That was pretty cool.
Oh man!
I do a thing where I get a gal up and she'll lead a conga line around the room, and I've had people lead conga lines completely out of the lounge, outside the hotel. I've had guys get on their knees and propose on that stage. I've had.
Well, how many times have you accepted?
No, you got me there. Yeah. So there's every night's fun. Something's going on every night to keep. It's just fun for me to watch the audience. You know, just this last week I had this young guy get up to lead I have the part where I have the men run around the room like they're riding a horse, and I had this young man. I said, "You look fast. You do it. You lead the way." And this young man just took off as fast as he could run. And these other men, they kept right up with him. I had these men running as fast as they could around that lounge. It was the most amazing thing to see. It was really funny. That was a good one.
I just can't imagine with all these stories and all these years of performing. Being a Disney cast member, do you get called on to perform at any other events, or have you performed for anybody really famous over the years that you can tell us about?
Well, let's see. It was maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I had, is it John Lasseter?
Oh, from Pixar.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was there, and he and his family had come out to see the show, and he led the boys running around the horses.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, he wasn't scared. And I do shout where I get the boys to get down on the floor and do the gator, and he was down there on the floor doing the gator. And, yeah, he wasn't scared. So he was the most recent one that I've had.
Are there any other side projects besides some of your children's CDs or the other musical CDs that you've been working on?
I've got an interesting summer. This summer I'm playing all 15 public libraries here in Orange County, Florida. So I'm going to play all the libraries.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, and I've got a bunch of private parties. I've got a wedding reception. There's this one really interesting room over in the Living Seas Pavilion. It's underwater, actually. So it's a little banquet room that with all this real hard wood, and it's got these big picture windows. And I'm playing a wedding reception over there next month, and it's really interesting. They've got a clear piano.
Wow.
So, and I'll be playing. I've done several parties over there before, and you can scuba dive in the Living Seas Pavilion if you are willing to pay whatever price it is.
Yeah, if you have the money for it, you can definitely do it.
So I'm playing the piano, and I look over my shoulder, and I had a group of people with scuba gear in the tank taking pictures of me playing the piano. It's like, that's the funniest thing. Usually the cameras are pointed the other direction, but these guys are actually in the tank taking pictures. I was pretty pissed.
Well, how often do you scuba dive and see a guy playing a piano while you're underwater? I mean, that's a pretty rare sight.
In a red bowler.
Yes. How many different hats do you actually have? Just the.
I've got a closet full of these. I've got a top hat. I've got several top hats. I've got fedoras and bowlers, and I've always worn hats, and I've got lots of hats. It's fun.
I only have one question left. I don't know if George has any more, but your name, Yehaa Bob Jackson. I'm assuming the yeehaw obviously comes from you yelling yeehaw a lot of the time, right?
Yeah, that's it. Just yeehaw.
Why did you start doing that? Just out of curiosity, was it just a fun thing to do, or
Just a fun thing to do, and just started yelling yeehaw, and before I knew it, I was Yehaa Bob, and I got yeahbob.com as my webpage and my email address, and so it's Yehaa Bob. That's me. You got me.
excellent? So people at Walt Disney World, they can find you Wednesday through Saturday at Port Orleans Riverside, correct? At 8:30 the shows start?
That's right.
Excellent.
Do they need to make reservations or plan ahead or any
No
special thing they need to do?
reservations. It's free to get in. Kids are welcome all night long.
Oh, wonderful.
Fun for the whole family, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody has more fun than us. We had the we had fun.
And again, you can, aside from at Walt Disney World, you can find Yehaa Bob online at yeahbob.com. We'll include the link in the show notes. And you have a fan page on Facebook as well, don't you?
That I do. I got 2 of them. Just look for the ridiculous man with the funny hats. I'm not too hard to find.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time and coming on the show and talking to us for a couple minutes. We both really appreciate it. We'll be down in September, October. I got to bring George to the show.
Yes, that's going to be
He's
fantastic.
got to see it.
Looking forward
Well,
to it.
that's just great. Thanks for inviting me on the show, and a big shout out to my buddies George and Jeff and all my friends at the Communicore Weekly. We love you, guys. Bye-bye.